Hawks fans, and welcome to another episode of the Hawks Nest podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Matt Yeazel, the voice of the Boise Hawks in this 2022 season, and this is episode number 6 of the season. I'm going to have a special guest later on as Hawks shortstop Trevor Minder sits down to me to talk about coming here to Boise after finishing his college ball at Tulane and his role on this Hawks team and much more. So look forward to that, but before that, I'm going to give my update on the team as usual. I record this podcast on Thursday, August 11th. We are currently at Ogren Park at Allegiance Field in Missoula, Montana. The final game here of just three games here in Missoula this season for Boise. This is the third game of a 6-game home and home series against the reigning champion Missoula Paddleheads, who have gotten the best of the Hawks in this rematch of the championship series from a year ago. Paddleheads currently lead the season series 5-0. They've taken the first 2 games of this set by finals of 7-3 on Tuesday night and a blowout last night 14-2. Boise scored in just 3 individual innings in the first 2 games tonight. 3 runs in the third inning on Tuesday and a run apiece in the first and the ninth. They were able to scratch one across. But offense has struggled a bit here in this set, but it will be, again, one more game here in Missoula tonight, and then the team will head back and drive overnight through the windy mountain roads back to Boise, and the Paddleheads are going to do the same thing as both teams. Again, head back to Boise for a weekend set, Friday and Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. The series finale is at Memorial Stadium. So looking forward to going back home, even though it'll be quite the rough road trip, not much sleep on the bus ride through the mountains. But so this is the first episode in about a week and a half, so I also want to recap the series the Hawks just played, another home-and-home series, so a lot of travel back and forth. Craig, our bus driver, I'll give a shout-out to, has been busy lately traveling with this Hawks squad, but the Hawks dropped the series against Idaho Falls. It was an interesting one, 4-2. The Chuckers won the first 3 at home at Melaleuca Field, all 3 very close games. The first 2 of that series, each being dropped by 2 runs by Boise, a 12-10 game that the Hawks actually came back by scoring 6 runs in the 7th inning to bring that one close. It was kind of a similar story all 3 games. The Hawks trailing by multiple runs and then scoring runs late. They never quit in any of these games, but just coming up short against some pretty good relievers for Idaho Falls, and the Chuckers relievers John Nunnally Jr. and Nate Jenkins picked up saves in each of the 3 games, with Jenkins saving 2 of them. But then once the series got back home to Boise, things got a lot better for the Hawks. They took home a convincing win on Friday night, August 5th, 11-5, the final in that one, and the Chuckers even scored a couple in the 9th. But a great start by Chase Costello in his Hawks debut that night. 5 2/3, gave up just 1 earned run. You'll see Chase back on the mound on Friday night back in Boise. Tomorrow night, rather. So looking forward to seeing his second start, how he comes back. He got a standing ovation from the Hawks crowd, and it was a much-needed lengthy start at the time for the Hawks starting staff. And then on Saturday night was one of, if not the most fun night of the season for Boise, a 5-4 win on a Saturday night thanks to a walk-off home run from Jordan Rathbone, who continues to kind of have a flair for the dramatic, is how I said it on the broadcast. He has now 5 home runs on the season, including 2 grand slams, a game-tying home run in the 9th inning. That was actually in his Hawks debut against this Paddleheads squad back in July, over the July 4th weekend, and then a walk-off home run. Of course, being mobbed by his teammates afterwards, and again, a really fun moment that, you're going to look back on in this season for the Hawks for sure. 5-4 win on Saturday. The Sunday series finale, not quite going the Hawks' way, 12-4. The Chuckers were able to take that game and take the series against the Hawks. before the team had an off day to head through the mountains again here to Missoula, where they have dropped the first 2 games. So there's kind of your update in terms of the final scores. I'll also give my kind of hitter and pitcher of the week, and I've already mentioned a few top contenders. You got to throw Jordan Rathbone in there for his walk-off home run. He also had another home run back in the opener of the series against Idaho Falls at Melaleuca Field, and it was a long shot for Rathbone, a 434-foot bomb, the first hit of the day for the Hawks. That was in the top of the 3rd inning. So a couple of home runs this week for Rathbone, and that was coming off a week where Rathbone had to catch 7 games in a row as Sean Skelly, the Hawks' primary catcher, was down with a concussion. So Rathbone kind of playing through a lot of exhaustion there. Those catchers take a beating behind the plate, and he turned in a lot of offensive production in place of Sean Skelly, and he has continued to do well as well. But I also have to give another shout out to Jacob Cruz, as on Friday night he had the first 2 home run game of the season for Boise, 2 home runs, including a 2-run shot on, again, Friday night. The Hawks' big win, 11-5. That was also the first night the Hawks went back-to-back this season. Cruz and Raymond Gill went back-to-back in the 2nd inning, and Cruz also had a home run in Idaho Falls on Tuesday night. And that was a big home run to bring the Hawks within 2 runs in that 6-run 7th inning that I mentioned earlier. So Rathbone and Cruz, the hitters of the week. And then pitchers of the week, again, I mentioned Chase Costello, who had a great debut for Boise on the mound. So I think I'll have to give him the honor of pitcher of the week as well. Looking forward to seeing what he's able to do on Friday night, tomorrow. A 7 p.m. start in Boise, 7 p.m. on Saturday night as well, and 2 p.m. on Sunday. So come join us at the stadium before the team embarks on a 2-week road trip, their longest and final road trip of this 2022 season. On Monday, they're going to use the off day to travel their longest distance as well. For the first time ever, the team will travel to Kalispell, Montana, just a couple hours north of here in Missoula. Unfortunately, we got to go back home before we go back up to Kalispell. But Flathead Field, brand new turf field in Kalispell. The Glacier Range Riders in their first year in the Pioneer League. So looking forward to seeing the new stadium and playing the Range Riders up there in Kalispell. And then the team will go from Kalispell to Idaho Falls. So 6 games in Kalispell, then an off day, and then 6 more against the Chuckers, where unfortunately the Traffic Cone Trophy will need to travel to for Boise, as the Chuckers have won 12 games of the 24 games in the Idaho Transportation Department Highway Series. So if the Chuckers win just 1 of those 6 games, they will clinch the season series and be able to be the new home of the Traffic Cone Trophy in their front office, as it's lived in the Boise Hawks front office for this entire season, as the Boise Hawks won it a season ago. But that'll just about do it for my update. Without any further ado, here is my chat with Hawks shortstop Trevor Minder.
All right, Trevor, thanks for joining me. I want to talk about your baseball background before we get into kind of your role here with the Hawks. And you came here after finishing your college ball at Tulane. So, yeah, just give a little background on kind of baseball-wise, how you built yourself up and how you ended up here playing in Boise.
Right, okay. So out of high school, I didn't have many offers or anything like that. So I ended up going to a junior college about an hour and a half away from my hometown called Parkland Junior College, which is in Champaign, Illinois. From there, I had 2 good years. We made a run to the D2 Junior College World Series, where I was able to get some eyes on me there, kind of make a name for myself. And then the following year, I ended up committing to Tulane that fall. And then, anyways, ended up down in New Orleans. Had a good first year there, then COVID hit, obviously. So I had to come back for my senior and then 5th year season. Ended up breaking my wrist that senior season. Struggled a little bit that year, so went back and started working towards my master's. Got 3 classes there that I still have to take, and then I got the opportunity to come out here, so I jumped on it and put school on hold. So I'm glad to be here.
What were you? I gotta ask, since you're pretty close to your major, or your master's, what did you major in?
I majored in health and wellness just because it was the easiest thing. But no, so then my master's will be in health and wellness management. But like I said, I'm three classes away from that, so might have to go back and get that done for my mom.
There you go. So I'll ask, it's a pretty common path to, go JUCO out of high school if you don't, get the big time offers right away. But,
Right.
It worked out for you. Success story, going to a big program after JUCO. So what did you kind of learn from that experience playing at a smaller school and then moving up to another bigger school?
Right. Well, I mean, I just learned that you have to believe in yourself and your abilities, for one, and then 2, just the reality of the game. I came out of high school at like 150 pounds, and I couldn't really hit. So I had a lot of work to do, and the junior college was a good place for me to do that. And then my body started to develop a little bit. Still got some work I can do there, but just growing as a person and physically is a lot in this game. So I think that's the main takeaway, was really just understanding how to handle situations, and especially difficult situations, which I've had to go through in my career. So it's definitely helped me for sure.
And, you mentioned New Orleans, pretty cool town to
Right.
be able to spend a few years in college. So talk about what that experience was like, just kind of being in that cool of a city.
Right. So initially I was scared because it's so far away. It was like 11 hours furthest I've been away from home, but I fell in love with it for the most part. Definitely a lot to do there. Easy to get in trouble down there, so I had to be smart and stay out of trouble. But yeah, it was cool getting to experience different parts of the country, which is another reason I'm out here. That it's been pretty cool to see Boise and the western half of the country. So yeah, I mean, just experiences. I tell people all the time, it's amazing what this game can do for you and where it can take you. So you just got to soak it all in.
So
enjoy the process.
Yeah, absolutely. And is what everyone says about the New Orleans food true? Did you have any particular favorite dishes down there?
Yeah, I didn't have a car down there, so I didn't really go eat at like all the places. But
Okay.
for the most part, the food is pretty good. I think my favorite was we had a little crawfish boil after one of our games, and that was by far my favorite thing. So it's just fun to eat and hang out with friends. I don't know, it's a good time.
Yeah. So then you finished up in New Orleans, and then what kind of maybe connections did you have here, maybe with Gary, or how did you end up here with the Hawks?
Right. So 2 of my coaches are from this part of the country at Tulane. One was from Washington and the other was from Nevada. So they were pretty connected out here, and I think they both knew Gary a little bit, but it was actually our volunteer coach that got me in touch, and he was the one that was kind of pushing me to keep playing because I wasn't sure if I was going to keep playing, but he was like, yeah, bro, you got to be ready to go. I know a bunch of people, but I just got blessed that it wasn't too long before somebody reached out and gave me the chance. So I took about a month off and then got ready to roll, and I ended up out here beginning of June, I think. So yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty smooth transition. That's really it.
Yeah, now, talking about your role with the Hawks when you originally added, mid-season addition, kind of a crowded infield. At the start of this year, all the infielders were new. It was kind of, Gary trying guys out at different spots. You came in and after a few weeks kind of earned yourself the everyday starting shortstop role. So talk about that, coming in, what you expected your role to be on this team, and
Right.
how you've kind of established yourself.
Right. Well, to be honest, I was pretty nervous coming in, just not knowing like what the locker room would be like, the vibes and all that. I know at this level it's a little different because you do have to see people go that you become friends with and stuff like that. So I knew it was going to be a little learning curve for me there. But as far as on the field, I just know what I can do defensively and what I can bring to the table. the offensive part is just the added bonus. So, I had confidence that I could play shortstop at this level, and that's really all it was just believing in myself and just playing the game like I always have.
So when you think of yourself as a player and your strengths, would you say defensively first is how you think of yourself? You're pretty tall for a shortstop. You've made some highlight plays here in Boise. So would you consider yourself kind of a defense first kind of player at short?
I'd say for the most part, yeah. Most of my career, I'd say the glove got me to where I was, and then, like I said, the bat is the bonus. So I'm still learning how to hit. I'm not super polished there yet, but I think in time it'll get there for sure. So that's just really what I'm waiting on, because the glove has always been there, and we just need the bat to start rolling. So yeah, that's how I'd explain it.
Yeah. And what has been either probably more offensively, what has been the biggest difference or adjustment for you going from college ball to here in the Pioneer League?
To be honest, not a huge adjustment. Obviously, we saw some pretty good arms in college. The consistency, I would say, is a little bit better in this league for sure. And then just knowing how to attack certain hitters, and then like myself, they know what they're doing. But I don't know. It's just, for me, it's just going up there and trying to hit a good pitch, staying in the strike zone, and all that. So that's the main adjustment.
And what would you say offensively are the biggest things you would like to improve on now? You've shown pretty consistent, getting on base, getting hits kind of in the 6 or 7 spot in this lineup. You did see one home run in Billings this year, hooking it down the left field line. But what would you say are your biggest kind of the things you're keying in on that you're trying to improve as an offensive player?
And I think it kind of goes off of what I was just saying about swinging at the right pitches, because here they're trying to get you outside of the zone a little bit more. So I think just being selective and getting the right pitch to hit, not chasing out of the zone and stuff like that, is the main thing I want to work on. And I think that will in turn help the power numbers a little bit, because obviously that's something that I'm trying to improve on. But other than that, I'll take the hits, man. That's all. I've struggled enough in this game, and right now I think I'm in a pretty good spot.
So we got probably a little less than a month now of this season. What are your plans for the off season when the season ends? You gonna go back to the Midwest, kind of by me, over in Wisconsin, or what are your plans for the off season?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go home for a little bit, and I gotta go home, see my friends for sure. But I do, now that I'm doing this, making money doing this, it's something that I gotta really turn up the dial a little bit and commit fully. So I got friends down in Florida. I got friends up in Chicago, which is closer to you. So I think I'm thinking about going to train with them, get in the weight room, and then really just try to stay hitting the whole off season. That's really it. Hang out, maybe go play some golf. Just gotta have some fun, because this is I don't like the word grind, but it wears on you a little bit, both mentally and physically. So I think just decompressing and taking some time to enjoy the time that I do have off will be important. Yeah,
and how have you kind of adjusted to, I think grind is a good way to put it with the travel and stuff, especially in this league. Field's pretty far apart. We got a tough ride coming up tonight back home to Boise.
Right.
But, we're seeing some cool cities on the road. I'm sure you probably haven't been to any of these cities, so how have you kind of enjoyed that?
Well, yeah, I've hated the bus rides, but being able to see the scenery out here, like right now where we're sitting, that's beautiful right there. You didn't get that where we're from.
Yeah, no mountains in Chicago.
No. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The weather's been pretty nice. It's just, like I was saying earlier, it's just experiences. And I was thinking on the way up here, like, who would have thought that I'd be seeing these places, like, just seeing what I'm seeing. But I think my bad, he just threw me off. But I think it's cool for sure, and I'm glad that I've been given the opportunity to come out here and see this kind of stuff, because it'll help me choose where I want to live the rest of my life, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. And we've mentioned back in Illinois a few times, so I got to ask. You told me you were a Cardinals fan the other day, so give me the story behind that.
Well, I mean, really I'm like an hour and a half from St. Louis and like 4 hours from Chicago. Okay. So it's just closer to St. Louis, and I have a bunch of family down in St. Louis too. Okay. So I grew up going to Cardinal games, stuff like that. Albert Pujols, Yadier Molina, all them, watching them play. So, I mean, that's really it. And then as I grew older, well, it was when the Cubs won the World Series. That's when my not hatred for the Cubs, but I was like, yeah, I can't root for the Cubs. But
I totally get that. I can get behind.
But I got to be careful saying that around here because they're all Cubs fans here. So, but no, it's just something that from a young age I always watched the Cardinals. They were always on TV, so that's just who I went with.
What about the other sports? You use Chicago anything?
No, I don't watch football. I hate football. And then basketball. I'm not really an NBA fan, so I don't really like the Bulls. I'd say the Cardinals are really the only team that I even watch. I mean, at college sports, like Illinois fan, but other than that, nah, nothing Chicago related.
All right, that's fine with me. We can have the Brewers Cardinals beef, but nothing else.
Hey, I had to root for the Brewers a little bit. My roommate was from. Dude, he's gonna kill me, but he's from, I don't want to say Madison. So
that's where I'm from.
I was watching all the Brewers games this year.
Okay.
So
it's gonna be a good race until the end. All right, my last one. What are just in general, when you look back at this season, whether you're back home or you're training somewhere else, when you look back on this season, what would a successful season look like for you? When you think back, what is success? This is your first year here.
Right.
You've establish yourself as an everyday player. So is that really, those are your goals, or what else does success look like for you?
I would say for the most part, yes, that is success. But I think just learning how to prepare myself for the grind, I guess we'll call it, of playing every day and traveling and learning my body, understanding my body, and then just being able to perform consistently. I think that would be more success because right now it's a little difficult. Obviously, we're skidding a little bit. So usually I'm team oriented, but I don't know how to say it. But I mean, just showing up every day, doing what I can, staying solid to help the team win. Really, I think that's more successful than anything, because when you put others first, you tend to see the individual results. So, I think just learning what pro baseball is really like would be the success for me this year, coming in late and all that. So, just get my feet wet and knowing what I'm doing.
All right, Trevor, that's all I got for you, man. Thanks for joining me. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Appreciate you.
All right, that's just going to about do it for this episode of the Hawks Nest podcast. My thanks to Trevor Minder for sitting down and taking the time before the game here on Thursday night in Missoula. Stay tuned with our broadcast, both on the road and away. And 3 more games at home, where we are on the Pioneer League Network, pblnetwork.com, on the video stream. And then when I travel with the team, our last road trip to Kalispell and Idaho Falls. You can find us on the Boise Hawks Facebook Live. So give us a like on Facebook and you'll be notified when we go live. We also tweet and post the links to all our broadcasts on Facebook and our Twitter page at Boise Hawks as well. You can find us on Instagram at The Boise Hawks. You can find myself, to get the broadcaster's perspective, on Twitter at MJ Yeazel, and on Instagram at Matt Yeazel. That's Yeazel. If you'd like to get my perspective as I travel with the team every game for the remainder of this season. Would like to thank you all again for tuning in to another episode of the Hawks Nest podcast. I'll be back next week with another guest. So I will see you next time. Have a great week.